My name is Sophia Chen, and I'm the founder and CEO of Luminous Technologies. Well, at least I was until 3 days ago. Now I'm sitting in my home office, watching my ex-husband Marcus strut around my company's headquarters through the security cameras, acting like he owns the place. Technically, as of 9 a.m. this morning, he does. But he has no idea what's coming. Let me take you back to where this all began. 5 years ago, I launched Luminous Technologies from my garage with nothing but a revolutionary AI algorithm and an unwavering determination to succeed. I had spent years developing a groundbreaking machine learning system that could predict market trends with unprecedented accuracy. While other companies were still using traditional data analysis, my algorithm could process millions of data points in real time, identifying patterns that human analysts would miss. Marcus came into my life during our series of funding round. He was charming, brilliant, and seemed to share my vision for the company. As an investment banker with connections throughout Silicon Valley, he helped secure the funding we desperately needed. I fell hard and fast, both for his ambitious drive and his apparent dedication to seeing my dreams come true. "You're extraordinary, Sophia," he would say, looking at me with those intense green eyes. Together, we could build an empire. Within 6 months, we were married. I was so in love that I didn't notice the red flags. Like how he gradually began inserting himself into every aspect of the company, or how he subtly undermined my authority in board meetings, always positioning himself as the voice of reason whenever I proposed ambitious expansion plans. "Honey, you're brilliant with the tech, but let me handle the business side," he'd say, his tone condescending but wrapped in a smile. That's why we make such a great team. I was too busy growing the company to see how he was slowly positioning himself as the face of Luminous Technologies. In interviews, he'd talk about our vision and our algorithm, even though he had nothing to do with developing the technology. But I trusted him. After all, he was my husband, and the company was legally mine. What could go wrong? Everything changed 2 years ago when I discovered his affair with our chief marketing officer, Rebecca Sterling. It wasn't just the betrayal that hurt. It was finding out that they had been plotting behind my back, preparing for a hostile takeover of my company. I still remember that night clearly. I was working late at the office, trying to fix a bug in our latest algorithm update. That's when I received an anonymous email containing surveillance footage from a hotel in Singapore. There was Marcus, entering a suite with Rebecca, but what caught my attention was the stack of documents they were carrying. The timestamp showed this was during the week they claimed to be on separate business trips. Instead of confronting them immediately, I decided to dig deeper. What I uncovered made my blood run cold. They had been meeting with potential investors, presenting themselves as the real brains behind Luminous Technologies. Marcus had been systematically gathering support from board members, preparing for a vote of no confidence in my leadership. "She's brilliant but unstable," he told them in one recorded meeting. "The company needs more professional management." That night, as I sat in my dark office surrounded by evidence of their betrayal, something inside me shifted. The hurt and anger crystallized into a cold, clear purpose. If they wanted my company so badly, I would give it to them, but on my terms. The next morning, I started implementing my plan. First, I hired Sarah Matthews, a ruthless corporate lawyer known for handling some of Silicon Valley's messiest divorces. "We're not just going to defend," I told her. "We're going to make them regret ever crossing me." Then I began the real work. While maintaining a perfect facade of normalcy, I spent the next 2 years meticulously preparing for this moment. I created a complex web of shell companies across multiple jurisdictions. Through these entities, I gradually accumulated massive debt, $47 million to be exact, all legally tied to Luminous Technologies assets. The debt was structured in a brilliant way, if I do say so myself. On paper, it looked like legitimate business expansion. New offices in emerging markets, research and development facilities, marketing campaigns. But in reality, every dollar was carefully hidden in accounts that only I could access. Marcus never noticed. He was too busy with his affair and his takeover plans to pay attention to the intricate financial maneuvers I was making. His arrogance was his blind spot. He never imagined that his tech-focused wife could outmaneuver him at his own game. I also made sure to document every one of his indiscretions. The affairs, yes, there were more than just Rebecca. The illegal business dealings, the insider trading he thought I didn't know about. Everything was carefully cataloged and stored with multiple copies in secure locations. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal. I smiled through board meetings while Marcus undermined me. I acted surprised when he finally served me with divorce papers. I even played the role of the desperate wife trying to save her marriage, all while knowing exactly how this would end. When he finally made his move last week, I was ready. The board meeting was exactly as dramatic as he had planned. Marcus stood up, looking smugly confident in his expensive suit, and presented his evidence of my mismanagement. "It's clear that Sophia's emotional instability is putting the company at risk," he announced to the board. "As her husband and co-founder, I have no choice but to call for a vote of no confidence." I sat there, tears in my eyes, thank you, acting classes, as the board voted to remove me as CEO. Marcus couldn't hide his triumph as he was unanimously voted in as my replacement. Rebecca, sitting at the far end of the table, had the decency to at least look uncomfortable. "I'm sorry it had to end this way, Sophia," Marcus said afterward, not looking sorry at all. "But it's for the best. The company needs strong leadership." "You're right," I replied softly, signing the transfer papers. Then I leaned in close and whispered, "You should check the overseas accounts." His face froze. "What? Oh, and Marcus? You might want to call your lawyer. The FBI will be here in about—" I checked my watch, 20 minutes. "They're very interested in some of your recent trading activities." The color drained from his face as his phone began buzzing. Emergency alerts from the financial department. Urgent messages from overseas banks. Panicked calls from investors. Within hours, the truth came crashing down. The company he had just taken control of was saddled with $47 million in debt, structured in ways that made him personally liable as the new CEO. The FBI was indeed investigating his insider trading, tipped off by an anonymous source with extensive documentation. But the real genius of my plan? The money wasn't actually gone. Through a complex series of transactions, I had moved it into a new company, one that I had secretly established months ago. A company that had already hired most of Luminous key engineers and had patents pending on our next generation of AI technology. Marcus's victory lasted exactly 3 days. This morning, he was arrested on multiple charges of securities fraud. Rebecca resigned in disgrace after her role in the conspiracy came to light. And me? I'm sitting in my new office, watching my stock prices rise as news breaks about my innovative new AI company. The irony? If Marcus had just been faithful, if he had appreciated what we had built together, he would be celebrating real success instead of facing federal charges. His greed and betrayal led him right into the trap I had spent 2 years preparing. Some might call my revenge excessive. But in the cutthroat world of tech, you have to protect what's yours. Marcus thought he could take everything from me because I was just the technical genius who didn't understand business. He forgot that the same mind that could create revolutionary algorithms could also orchestrate his downfall. Last night, as I watched the news coverage of Marcus being led away in handcuffs, I poured myself a glass of the champagne we had been saving for our 5th wedding anniversary. The bubbles matched my mood, sparkling with satisfaction. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah, my lawyer. "Heard the news. Remind me never to cross you." I smiled, taking another sip of champagne. In the end, Marcus got exactly what he wanted: control of Luminous Technologies. He just didn't realize it was worth less than zero until it was too late. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. In my case, it was served with a side of poetic justice and a $47 million bill. Epilogue. 1 year later, my new company, Phoenix AI, has become one of the fastest-growing tech companies in Silicon Valley. The technology one developed after leaving Luminous has revolutionized the industry, making my previous achievements look modest in comparison. Marcus, meanwhile, accepted a plea deal and is serving a 5-year sentence in federal prison. The last I heard, Rebecca had moved to a small town in Idaho, working as a social media manager for a local furniture store. Luminous Technologies? It filed for bankruptcy 3 months after Marcus took over. The debt, the lost contracts, and the exodus of key personnel was too much to overcome. The company that I had built from nothing, that Marcus had tried to steal from me, crumbled to dust in his hands. Sometimes, when I'm working late in my new office, overlooking the San Francisco skyline, I think about how differently things could have turned out. If Marcus had been faithful, if he had been a true partner instead of a snake waiting to strike, we could have built something remarkable together. But then I remember the look on his face when he realized what I'd done, and I smile. Because in trying to destroy me, he taught me an invaluable lesson. Never let anyone else control your destiny. These days, I keep a small plaque on my desk. It reads, "The best revenge isn't just success, it's making them watch you succeed." And succeed I have. My story has become a cautionary tale in Silicon Valley. Never underestimate a woman with a brilliant mind and a long memory. Marcus thought he could erase me from my own company's story. Instead, he became a footnote in mine.